Hey everyone, welcome into a special edition of Inside the Leafs. Pleased to be joined today by one of the most beloved captains in Maple Leafs history. He still holds the record for most points in an NHL game with 10. It is Darryl Sittler. Darryl, great to chat with you today.
Always good to be here. Go Jays, go, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great time of year for Toronto sports fans with the Blue Jays in the World Series and the Maple Leafs going as well. Now, when it comes to the Leafs, Daryl, it's been a bit of a slow start for the year. The Leafs just 4-4-1 to begin the season. What have you made of the early returns?
Well, obviously, because we've had such a good team the last couple of years, expectations are high. We've made some changes. Sometimes there's a little bit of an adaptation to making new changes in the players lineup. If you're going to be a team that has a chance to win every night, your goaltending has to be good. I think it hasn't been as good as it has been initially last year, but that's not to say it can't turn around. I know Joseph Wall's back, so that it gives us a little bit more steadiness in the backup situation. And Stolarz is a good goalie; he'll get his game together sooner or later. But we do have a good hockey club, and the other thing that people underestimate, that the amount of parity in the league. Any night, any team can beat the other team. It's a break here or there. The games are close. They're not very high scoring anymore. So the games are challenging. You got to be ready every night.
Yeah, I think you're looking at it right now in the Atlantic Division. You've got Montreal off to a great start, like the way they are. Detroit, of course, it's sort of the upside down, where in years past, the Leafs, Tampa Bay, Boston, obviously would be running the division at this point. I'm curious, when you look back at your career, what was it like for you at the beginning of a season? How long did it take for you to really get things going?
Well, I was always a player right from the get go, even when I played junior hockey or when I was a kid. Preparation was a really important ingredient to the success of my game. So coming into training camp, even when I was drafted by the Leafs as a 20-year-old, I was in really good shape. And the team back then, after winning the cup in '67, the mentality was the training camp's long. You enjoy your summer, you come to training camp, you get in shape there. So I always felt I had a little bit of a head start because of that mentality and the fitness that I was in, and I've always been that way. So sometimes there's an adjustment when you have new line mates. You get a trade, or the coach changes your line mate, and it takes a little bit of time to adjust. Like when I was playing with Lanny and Errol Thompson, sometimes there's a chemistry there with players that it just happens. You can't explain it. You know where each other is all the time on the ice, even though sometimes you don't even have to take a look. You can put that puck in that spot and they're there. So right now, I think we're going through a little bit of adjustment with Auston. Obviously, Mitch Marner was a key ingredient to a lot of areas uh, on our team last year, whether it's penalty killing, power play, or just regular play on the ice. So there's some adjustments there for all the players for sure.
So you mentioned Mitch Marner, and that's a big storyline this season, the departure of him to Vegas. I know it was different circumstances for you because you were traded to a different team in Philadelphia, but what kind of things do you think Mitch could be dealing with right now as far as trying to find his footing on and off the ice with a new team?
Well, there's an adjustment. Mitch is married. He has a child. You're playing with new teammates, a different environment out there. New coach. Those are adjustments. But Mitch is such a talented, gifted player, and he comes to play every night that he'll find his way. I think what happens too sometimes with players when you sign a big long contract like that for that type of money, you put a little bit more pressure on yourself because you feel there's an expectation that comes from whether it's your own teammates, whether it's the media or the fans here, expecting you to be maybe do somewhat more than when that you can actually do. And when you when you don't reach those expectations, I think sometimes a little bit of pressure you put on yourself. And I haven't really followed Mitch much to see what kind of a start he's off to, but I think the game plan for any of those players that are those high contracted players is the goal is to win the Stanley Cup. And just like you're talking about our start with the Leafs this year, it's not what we're doing this time of the year. It's the key to make the playoffs and get into the playoffs and then play that playoff style hockey that you have to play in order to succeed. I mean, we played well last year. I mean, to take Florida to the seventh game and lose, yeah, we were disappointed how we lost the fifth and the seventh game here at home. I mean, none of us can figure out why that happened, other than that Florida's got a really good hockey club. They got great goaltending, and they proved that they've been the best in the league when they had to be in the last two seasons. So they're the benchmark for all the teams coming into this year, and hopefully we'll be ready for that style of play come playoff time.
So as we record this, John Tavares sitting one goal shy of 500 career goals. It's been a great run for him since returning home to Toronto. I know a few years ago you gave him his golden stick for hitting 1,000 points. What has it been like for you to watch the way John has gone about things since returning to Toronto, becoming the captain, and now passing the torch to Auston Matthews?
Well, I've admired John Tavares right from when he came into the league. I mean, he had a very successful first few years in Long Island. The fact that he was a free agent and chose to come back to Toronto and play for the Leafs with the idea that his goal in mind was to win a Stanley Cup here in the city. I always liked and continue to like his demeanor off the ice, his preparation on the ice, off season, and everything else. He was our captain, and he did a good job at being a captain. And when the management decided to ask him to relinquish it, to give it to Auston Matthews, he did it in a very classy way. And he did it for the reasons that he thought if this was going to help the hockey club, give Auston a little bit more leadership, and he would be there supporting him in every way he can. And to me, that's the most important thing. Being a former captain of the team is to have those leadership and those guys around you to support you in things you do. And Auston has that with him, and Morgan Riley, and Tanev, and a few other older players on the team. And John's been nothing but a pro. Congratulations to him on 499. I look forward to his 500th. Hopefully, it's the next game against Calgary on Tuesday. But I've got a lot of respect for Johnny Tavares.
So Auston Matthews now into his second full season as captain, a position, of course, you held in this city. For you, what were the biggest challenges wearing the C, and how difficult, if at all, is it doing it in Toronto?
Well, I remember when Jim Gregory came to me and they said that the management had picked me to be the next captain. It was truly an honor. But at the same time, I looked at it realistically and to say, yeah, it's an honor and it's nice to wear that C, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, both on and off the ice. And when the team's going well, I mean, you get a lot of credit as a captain for being a good leader. And when the team's going the other way, you're the target on your back and not giving the leadership that they think you should have. Having said that, in my situation, it was a little different being the captain under the ownership of Harold Ballard. He created a lot of controversial things that didn't necessarily have to happen. And as a captain, sometimes you were stamping out fires and putting out stories that Ballard had started. And the main reason all of us are there is to play is because we love the game and to do the best we can on the ice to help the team win. And those side stories, just added a little bit more challenge to my game back then. But Auston has all the support in the world, and he's doing a good job on and off the ice. And like I say, when things aren't going well, he'll get a lot of credit, and when things aren't going well, he'll feel the fire on his back. But that's all part of it. If you're the captain of the Maple Leafs, I've always believed, there's an honor and a respect that continues to go with that. The guys that were before me, the guys after me, and I think we all feel that way about the tradition and the honor to be a Leaf captain.
Yeah, and it really does seem like Austin does understand that and appreciate the honor of wearing the C, as you mentioned. Now, you're a London Knights alum. There's a few on the Leafs. There has been over the years, but right now, a guy in Easton Cowan who, just like you, trying to break into the NHL at the age of 20. What have you made of Cowan as he tries to establish himself as an NHL player?
Well, he's had a great junior career, and I think he playing under the Hunter boys in London. He understands that this game is not just goals and assists; it's defense, it's all around play. And Mitch Marner came out of London, as did a number of other great NHL players, and he understands that. So it takes time. Sometimes you don't get the ice time, you don't get the situations that you normally would get to put you in those positions to make yourself look good. But at the same time, no different when I started out. You got to earn your stripes, so to speak. You got to come to practice every day with a strong mentality. When things aren't going well, hey, you just got to keep believing in yourself and working hard. So when the opportunity is there in front of you, you can make the best of it. And I think he's going to have a long, very long and successful career. I love his skill level. I like his compete level.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you mentioned that where you're talking about earning your stripes and that's sort of the old school way. And you look at some of the other teams around the NHL, some of the younger teams where you've got players in their 20s, early 20s, maybe 21 years old that are getting much more ice time. And maybe Easton Cowan is looking at those situations and wondering, maybe that could be me, of course. I'm just as talented as these players. What kind of mindset does that take to be able to take a step back and realize that, the best thing for me right now is just to, earn my way, as you said, as maybe trying to, do too much to try to force the issue?
Well, he's in an environment on our team where there's a lot of good, experienced players around him. Guys like we talked about, Tavares, even in Austin's been in the league 9 years now, whatever it is, and Riley and all these other guys. So just sit back, enjoy it, enjoy it. We have a very good coaching staff, and let those guys make those decisions that they're paid to make in the position they're in. You just go do your job day in and day out, practice, come ready for the game, and that's all you can control and do. And don't let the other stuff get into your headspace, and enjoy the journey. It'll all work out for them.
One more for you before we wrap up here. Hard to believe it, but it's going to be the 50th anniversary of the 10-point game or later on this season. Now I'm a big sports memorabilia guy, so I have to know of that game, what do you still have? Whether it's the jersey, puck, skates. I know I remember reading a few years ago that you do not have the stick. Is that still the case?
You know what? I don't have anything from that game
Oh, really?
back when we played in the '70s. Never even thought about keeping those things. One of the interesting uh, sidelines, that jersey that I wore is now back in Canada. I won't go any further than that. It came up for auction a number of months ago out of the States, and a couple Canadian guys bought it, and it's here in Canada, and it's kind of cool. I went and saw it, and it's interesting to see the rips and the tears in it, and the crooked stem on the leaf. Um, but that's a nice piece of memorabilia for fans to have. I mean, nowadays I think players they could wear two or three jerseys a game and call them game worn jerseys. But back then, if you get an original like that, they're one of a kind, and I'm so happy that it's back in Canada. I look forward to the anniversary coming up. It's one of those seasons where in February the Leafs only have one home game. The Olympics are starting, I think, that weekend of February the 7th, somewhere along there. So, but according to what I hear, there might be a nice little ceremony commemorating the 50th anniversary. It'd be nice
Yeah.
for fans and players that played in the game. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it should be great to look back. I know there's still a lot of Leafs fans that remember that night and look back on it fondly. Daryl, really appreciate the time today. Thanks for chatting with us, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Okay, take care. See you at the rink.